All right, hi there. Today, what I want to talk about is a little tip to help you jam more. And if you ever feel like your adult brain is playing up and it's getting in the way of your actual practice, this is going to help as well because 99.9% of my students are all learning over the age of 40 or 50, some are older, okay? And a lot of us, struggle with our brain sometimes. It could play tricks on us, it could hold us back. We have negative thoughts. So, what we need to do is slow everything down and just get precise and have some fun. So here's a little story. The other day I took my son Archie and his best mate Matt to go and see the Minecraft movie. Now the Minecraft, I don't know if you ever played the video game, but it's okay from what I've seen. But the movie itself, starring Jack Black, was just crazy. It's chaotic. And at first I was like, what the hell is this? It's not exactly Martin Scorsese level of filmmaking. It's hurting my head. But when I switched off my adult brain, I got into it, okay? And I relaxed and just enjoyed it. And that, I just looked over at the two kids and they were just loving it every moment. It was fun, it was hyperactive, it was crazy, But what they did, they just got in the zone and enjoyed it. And then afterwards, they come back to ours and started playing a bit of keyboard. After about 5 to 10 minutes, they ran out of ideas of what to play. So me being a music lover and a teacher, I said, let's have a jam. So I picked up the guitar and I strummed some chords, C, G, A minor, F, and I got them to play only the white keys of the piano, okay? And we had this jam and it was fun. And they didn't know that they could do this. And it was very, very simple. And I'm going to show you the same sort of concept, okay? So obviously we don't have white keys on the guitar. It would possibly be easier, but you've got marker dots, okay? So the white keys of the piano are basically the notes in the C major scale. And you could do that on the high E string. Play the notes on the C major scale and the high E string. And it's just 0, 1, 3, 5. And 7, 8, 10, 12. That's the same as just playing the white keys of a keyboard, okay? So what I said to them, basically just play the same rhythm as me. Pick one note and do this rhythm. And I did this rhythm. And they picked a note and they just played that. And whenever every time I changed chords, I said change the note. Like that. Okay, so it's basically me strumming and them doing this. Okay, so you could try that with me. 8, 7, 5, 3 if you want. While I strum this after 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you was playing those notes in time with me, that would sound pretty good, It would sound nice. It would work. It would work really well. It's harmonically correct because you're playing the same notes. You're playing notes in the same key, yeah? And you're also playing them in time. And those notes as well do work really nicely with those chords when they're played in that specific order, okay? So there's various little bits of theory behind this, And you can go a bit deeper. For instance, the first note you played there on the 8th fret was a C. And that works with a C chord because it's a C chord and a C note together. The second note you played at fret 7 was a B note. And that works really well with a G chord because the B note is in that chord, okay? The third note you played was the 5th fret, which is an A. And that works really well with the A minor chord. And then you got the G note at the end, which works with the F, okay? Then it kind of makes it sound like an F add 9. All right, so theoretically you can get deep and deep with this. And, classical composers do, or would. They would know every little intricacy of all these things and harmonic flavors and stuff like that. And that comes from a lot of studying and a lot of ear training. But sometimes we just want to pick up and jam. So whatever you can do, find every way that you can just to pick up and jam. And literally the easiest way I find is make sure you're in the right key. So play a scale from the right key. It's obviously essential. And the next thing you do is just listen to the rhythm of the backing track and mimic the rhythm while you play notes. You can just play the same note for each bar. Like that, that's 2 bars there, But then later on you can change the notes within the bar while keeping the rhythm the same, if that makes sense. So you keep the rhythm the same, but you change the notes within the bar. So like this. And And you can change the rhythm slightly, but that's just a little example, you know? If I was to play that over those chords, that melody, it sound pretty good, and that's just completely made up on the spot. But that's the whole idea. But if you want to play it safe, just stick with one note and don't change it. You might maybe change it occasionally. You can just have a little fun. That's just a little simple melody. With a backing track, it would sound a lot better, and that's the whole idea. So if you want to strum the chords while I play that, you'll hear how it sounds. You know, it sounds really cool. But the main thing I want you to take away from this is just to play along with me. You know, play along with that little melody, the white notes of a keyboard almost. 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12 on a high E string. Gives you the C major scale. Gives you a lot of fun. Lots of chances to improvise, and it's just about switching your adult brain off, because sometimes you just want to have a bit of fun and have a little bit of a jam, and with somebody else it can be a really nice thing to do, even on a video like this. I know we're not, you know, in the same room, but it can feel like we're in the same room when you're playing those little melodies and I'm strumming these chords and we have a jam. That's exactly what I do with students in person, you know, and I've done it for a long time. We just have these simple little jams. Now, I don't know your skill level, I don't know how hard that is for you, but give it a go. I'm not saying it's easy, because one of the things you have to do when you jam is really listen. And most people, beginners especially, only focus on what they're playing, and they're not really listening to backing tracks or whoever's playing. And it's one of the really key skills to develop musicality, is to listen to everything else. Because most of the time, you know, with music we do play on our own, but there will be times where we are playing with backing tracks, other people, and we need to listen. And you need to pay attention to what you're doing and what they're doing, and sort of work back and forth. And it really does improve your brain in many ways, I find. You know, I mean, there's a lot of evidence about how playing music improves the brain, but doing that, being able to switch between your concentration between two different things is really powerful. And I think it's just one of those extra facets of playing guitar that is really underrated. So the more you jam with others, the better. Hopefully this little video gave you a few little ideas and you can have a jam with me. Right, let's do it one more time. I'll play the chords and, you know, just jam, okay? Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Check out this video here if you want more from me on just general fun playing. Right, cheers, bye bye.